We're going to be live today on Twitter, aka Periscope. Does anybody Periscope for anything else besides being on Twitter? Does anybody actually go on Periscope?
No, I think you only.
We were there in the beginning. Twitter. We were there in the beginning.
We were there in the very beginning.
Yeah, and now it shows up on your Twitter, but I don't know if anybody goes on Periscope. Hello, Periscope.
No, they just watch it live through Twitter. Yeah. And then remember Meerkat? That was cool
Meerkat,
for 2.
Yeah, Meerkat was first, and then Meerkat is already gone. And so
already,
the Periscope people do show up though. The Survivor Know-It-Alls, they featured it on Periscope the other night. I don't know what that means, but there you go.
Oh, that's cool. Did it blow up more because of that?
I have to look at the numbers, but I think it did better. Well, but so also then we are on Twitch. We are on the Facebook group AF. And then I believe, hopefully, we're going to be on YouTube as well this morning. So let's streaming live on YouTube. So we recorded to YouTube last week. Nobody complained. And now I think hopefully we'll see if anybody lets us know if we are up and live on YouTube this morning. Hopefully. Okay. All right. You guys ready? Is there too much banter before we even start the show? Is that a complaint?
Probably.
Okay. All right.
It sounds like one guy complained and everybody else was like, no, we love it.
Everybody jumped on it. Yes. Oh, yeah. Brent is here. Yes. Good morning, Brent. How are you?
Brent.
Yes.
In the hizzy.
Brent Walgamont is here. Okay. All right. Yes. All right. Good morning, everybody on YouTube. All right. So, look, we'll give it a shot. Let's see what the people say. Streaming live on YouTube as well. Here we go. Talking about the big news stories going on in the world right now. Okay, ready? You good? Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, here we go. All right, this is the real show. Should we do our clap? Ready?
Yeah, sure.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. I laugh when Brent calls me boss. He's in the Facebook group too. I saw on the we good news, Tyson. It looks like Sandra is going to come back on Rob as a podcast.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yes.
What was her beef with you?
She had a holdout about I had asked a very a bad question, and there was a big misunderstanding, sort of snowballed. But I'm very happy to report that we are hopefully going to be back on good terms soon.
Good.
Yes. You don't want to cross Sandra. You don't want to cross Sandra. All right.
No, you don't.
Okay. You good? All right. Here we go.
I'm ready.
All right. Hey, everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back here once again to talk about the week's most interesting news stories for the week of Tuesday, November 13th, 2018, here on News AF.
If the story is buzzing like it's on crystal meth, it's about to be News AF. If the same old news makes you bored to death, it's time for some News AF. Actual, factual news.
Yes, good morning or good afternoon or evening, depending on where you are and when you're listening. News AF is back, and we're ready to talk about some amazing news stories here with our News AF team as we are streaming live today on the 13th of November, 2018. Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and we are ready for another helping of News AF. Tyson Apostle, how are you?
Nanu, Rob.
Nanu, with the Vulcan greeting. Yes. Wow.
Vulcan. Yep. Shout out to all the nerds out there.
Yes. All right. Danny Bryson, how are you?
Doing swell.
Okay. Hanging in there.
Yep. Swell.
Yes.
Yeah, swell.
Tyson, how are you feeling?
I feel okay. I mean, you saw me smile and make a little joke, but my back is in real dire straits right now.
What happened to you?
Reason, I think I'm a dad.
So you think that's too much lugging around these kids?
Yeah. So my back is really put me in a hard position recently. Like last night, I got to the point where I couldn't even stand up, and the night before, and I finally, I don't really have the courage to go to our medicine cabinet and just like take one of everything. Mm-hmm. But this morning I was desperate enough to do that. I call it the Danny Bryson.
Yeah.
Where you're in so much pain, you just go in and what do you call it, Danny? A Skittle party?
Yeah, Skittles party. I did it when I had kidneys.
Recommended or no?
No, not recommended at all. Results will probably be death, but that's also relief. So that counts.
Okay. That is true. So my back right now, because of that, does feel better, but the rest of me feels worse.
Okay. All right. Well, hang
All
in there,
prices.
Tyson. I know that everybody is going to be hoping for a speedy recovery for you. And it's just
You know what it is?
Yes.
It's playing. I've been playing too much poker. I'm trying to get in shape for the Poker Stars Players Championship in January. And so I've been playing a lot of poker, and anybody who says that poker is not a sport is incorrect, because it does take a
Right, it
toll
takes a
on
lot
your,
out of you. Do you ever get the
Yeah.
person to come over and like give you a back rub at the table?
I haven't ever made enough money where I felt comfortable doing that.
It feels very indulgent to me.
It's like a $300, maybe less, maybe $100, couple $100 to have somebody rub your back while you're playing cards.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll try it in the Bahamas.
Okay. All right.
Right?
I mean, if you're ever going to try it, that seems like the place to do it.
Amen.
Amen. All right. Let's get into our top stories at this hour.
Oh, we're right into it.
Gonna try to rip the Band-Aid off and get right into talking about our news stories going on.
I said we had a hard out, but we don't, because Rachel's going to pick Bergen up from preschool today.
Okay. All right.
Good.
So we can go as long as we want.
Good to know.
5
All
hours,
right.
6 hours.
Big story going on here. The people over at Tide have done something where, with good intentions,
Miraculous.
we think. So you used to buy Tide in, this big gallon jug, and then they turned Tide into pods, but it was still like a big plastic container. And then you had these things, they looked like candy. Kids were eating them. Millennials were then daring each other
Delicious.
to eat them for sport. And so Tide said, okay, we're going to change things up. We are going to get rid of the big plastic container, and we are going to do something that is going to be good for the environment and make a big recyclable box to keep your detergent. However, things went haywire, Danny, when they revealed the design for the new Tide Eco Box, and people said, hey, hold on, that looks like a box of wine.
Yes, but whereas the Tide Pods targeted children, the box of wine targets adults. It allows for natural selection to take its course by encouraging people not able to read or discern. They can go ahead and drink this Tide.
I think it more specifically targets
Alcoholics.
stay-at-home moms. I can tell you one thing. If this were in my fridge this morning, I definitely would have used it to push down my Skittles.
This would have been part of your treatment.
Yeah.
Your back pains.
Now, does the new Tide Eco Box need to be refrigerated, Tyson?
I mean, just goes down smoother.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think. Does it depend if
More
it's
refreshing.
if you're doing a load of whites or reds? Is that what it depends on?
Yeah, it depends on how many loads of reds you're doing.
They recommend that for your white laundry that should be served slightly chilled, but for colors at room temperature.
Yeah, and also, this Tide, it's not for everybody. It does have a nice woody, flowery aroma, which I know isn't for all.
A woody afterbirth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's an office joke.
Now, Danny, I don't know what the color is of regular Tide, but also that the box Tide does seem to be a deep burgundy.
Mm.
Yeah, this
That will pair well with red meat.
Or
yeah,
pasta.
That's right. Maybe Ty should put out a list
Pasta
of
stains.
food items.
Spaghetti sauce stain.
Yeah, the things it pairs well with.
It pairs well with. Yeah. I don't understand even the discussion about this box. This looks like a totally innocent box. These are people who are just anti-Tide.
Oh,
Yeah.
You think that people are trying to take down Tide?
Yeah.
Yeah,
this
all is trying to,
Yep.
propagate all this negative publicity.
They've got their bots out there talking about how they're going to drink Tide.
Do you think if you brought this box in to a restaurant, they'd charge you an uncorking fee? Boom. Stacking them up.
Knocking them down.
So the big concern here is also that if millennials, Tyson, were eating the Tide Pods, will we now see a millennial YouTube challenge inspired by Logan Paul, perhaps, to start drinking the Tide from the Eco Box? Is that a concern?
I mean, a concern, I don't know, but it's one of those things where this article alone is what's going to generate enough interest in one person filming themselves drinking a glass of it.
This will result in at least one emergency room visit.
And only one.
Yeah.
I think not at least one. I think only one. And the video will get 8.6 billion views in 4 days.
So are you pointing the finger back at us for talking about the media sensationalizing the Tide Eco Box type?
Yeah, but it's not just us. I mean, people grabbed a hold of it. There's been jokes made. It's just like people deciphering what is a joke and what is not. So we're here joking about drinking Tide because that's been the flavor of the month for quite some time here, but not here on this podcast specifically, on the internet as a whole. And that is what actually drives, because one person who may or may not be a genius is at home thinking, it is funny that people joke about it looking edible, but I'm actually going to be the one that makes it edible. And then that's where it goes bad.
You saying that some practical jokester is going to go out and buy a box of Zinfandel and then replace it in the box of Tide at a party?
That's the smart move.
Yeah.
Put the Zinfandel in clearing out the box of Tide and put the wine in its place. And then,
I mean, that's an innocent prank.
That's a genius idea.
Yeah, that's fine. They're also saying, Tyson, that the Tide cup that you use to measure your detergent also is looking like a shot glass.
Well, I'm not an alcohol drinker per se, but I think that drinking wine out of a shot glass is a faux pas in general.
That would be a faux pas.
If everywhere you look, you see alcoholic items, you've got a real problem. Like if every innocent cup is becoming a shot glass and every box becomes a box.
Oh my God, look at this basket. I could put beer in here.
I mean, what does that say about you if everything you look at is turning into some kind of alcoholic item?
Yeah. Now, Danny,
car key is about the size of a shot. I'll eat it.
Danny, is there another way that Tide could have gone that would not have made people imagine other alcohol
40 ounces in a glass bottle?
Yeah, I mean, is there something that they could have done? Maybe like could they have come up with a Tide that looks like what?
I mean, look,
dog poop.
Cigarettes have pictures of skulls and crossbones, and people still smoke them. I think at the end of the day, if someone wants to eat this Tide, they're going to eat the Tide.
Yeah.
So
smoking can be hilarious. Drinking Tide Pods can be hilarious.
Okay. Here we have Tide trying their best, at least to come at the environmental angle. You know what I mean? Like they're like, hey, people are going to eat it no matter what. Let's just make the packaging environmentally friendly. That's something.
Danny, what do you think about this? Okay. New Tide. It comes in a rectangle, and it's actually a book. Okay.
So you tear out a page and put a page in.
Well, that would be something. That should be Tide dryer sheets. It's a book. Nobody would be touching that thing. But I was thinking that maybe you could then have like one of these like books with a secret compartment, and then you open up the book, and then it's hollowed out inside, and that's where the Tide is. And so that this would really, keep the people that are not smart enough to not eat the Tide away. They would never touch a book.
Right.
Or there's got to be a better.
But the dryer sheets, the Tide dryer sheet book, that's something.
Book.
Does Tide make a dryer sheet? I don't think they do.
No, I was thinking not a dryer sheet. Remember we read those articles about like ketchup slices.
Yeah,
I was thinking about
this is good.
Detergent slices.
Good, I like this.
But you can eat ketchup slices.
I know. I realized after I said it that it was actually something that would look delicious.
Look so good. It would look like a fruit by the foot.
It would. It would be. It would definitely be eaten a lot.
I think you got to do something more along the lines of like how they make fake fecal matter.
Yeah.
Or you make the container a giant
pimple.
You make the container a giant pimple, and then
Pop it.
No,
Pop
people
it
like
and
that.
pus
People
comes out.
are into that.
Yeah,
There's
but
a whole
nobody's
show
gonna
about that.
eat it.
They're not going to eat it.
They're not going to eat it if it looks like pus and it comes out.
I don't know.
I'm
That's too
just trying
gross. No. Nobody's gonna want that for their laundry.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
The thing is, if you make it the least edible or at least attractive, then nobody wants to use it, right? It has to
Right.
look kind of good. The coloring has to look good. The cup has to look sleek.
It's true.
So once you make
They
it look
know what they're
so
doing.
yeah, they know what they're doing. But if you make it too unappetizing, I think that the price for good marketing is just a couple hospital visits.
Mhm.
That's just what happens. when
Okay.
it comes
Yeah. That's built into your budget.
All right. Well,
Probably.
bad news for the millennials as the Tide Eco Box has hit stores, but there is some fun stuff still left for the millennials to do. There is a new edition of Monopoly that is going to be available. Monopoly for millennials, and there are some new twists on the classic game, Danny.
Tell me more. I'm
Okay.
very interested in hearing
So Monopoly doesn't always allow for people to have a great experience with the game. It lasts a long time. Millennials are, they're into they don't have 9 hours to play the Monopoly game, so they're gonna try to make the game some adjustments.
Millennials definitely do have 9 hours, but they don't have 9 hours of attention span.
Okay. So that the game is focused on experiences rather than owning things, Tyson.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. You don't pay rent. You
go
go
on
for
vacation.
experiences such as a 3-day music festival, vegan food,
This
bike
isn't true. Is
sharing,
this
and
true?
yoga studios.
Yeah, is this true?
This is not a prank.
I know, but is it a gimmick?
I mean,
Sounds hilarious. It sounds hilarious, and it's like one of those like backdoor compliments where it's not a compliment at all. It's like, hey, millennials, we know that you value this more than this, so we're going to make a whole stupid game to mock all of these stupid people out.
What I want to know is if Toys R Us still existed, would I be able to go to that store and buy this version of Monopoly? Or is this like a one-off that somebody's doing where it's like a fake Monopoly for millennials?
So it is available at Walmart. You can order it on walmart.com for $19.82, Danny.
It's real. Walmart makes it real.
It's real. We're not
You
not
can go
joking
pick
around.
up your Monopoly.
The
and
hottest
box
gift
of
this holiday
pies
season.
and just spend all, yeah.
Get out there and pick up Monopoly for millennials. You also can get your standard chance and community chest cards, which include unpaid internships and get into jail free card.
Get into jail?
Because that's an experience, bro.
Yeah. Yes.
That's the thing, is that these millennials have taken a spin off on everything and made it an experience, so nothing is truly bad.
Yeah. Also, if they have
is an experience.
another wrinkle in Monopoly for millennials, Danny, the person who gets to go first is the person that has the most student debt in real life. Also, not a joke.
I like that.
Is that true?
That's not. Yeah, I'm not
So
joking.
they go around. Sorry, I'm standing up to give my back a little break here.
Okay.
But I didn't want to stand with my crotch in front of the camera, so I'm off screen.
Okay.
So they go around the room and they're like, how much is your student debt? How much is yours? How much is yours? And then the one with the most, but then who starts the second game? The one with the second most amount of student debt?
What do you mean? Oh, I think maybe it just goes to your right. I'm not sure if they. I think that would be confusing to sort of. I mean, you sort of like have.
Or whoever wins the game starts probably the next round.
You play it over and over again.
Well, yeah, because sometimes you get, like, let's say you're having game night and you're playing and you're loving it and it ends really quickly.
Yeah, but I
because
don't think
somebody
anybody's ever
dominates.
played 2 games of Monopoly in a row.
Well, let
Even
me
Monopoly
check the
for
Guinness Book of World
millennials.
Records. Yeah, Guinness Book of World Records says that 1.25 games of Monopoly is played consecutively. That's the world record.
Tyson, the tagline for Monopoly for millennials, according to the article: "Forget real estate. You can't afford it anyway. Just enjoy your life experiences while you can."
I still
Is
don't
that
get-
also real?
Yeah, there's so much
There's
about
no
this sounds
jokes
like
here.
it was made by like Cars for Humanity or somebody like that.
Look, it's a smart gimmick to get people to be buying Monopoly.
It is. I would buy it as a joke for somebody.
Right. Will any actual millennials be playing this, or will like it only be Gen Xers and baby boomers making jokes about millennials
Sit
with their
down
friends?
to a nice box of Tide with your friends and play this game. I think, ironically, they will play this game.
Do they play games?
In an ironic fashion.
Would that be like if you were like hypothetically, like let's say
I
there
love
were
how we're talking about millennials like they're a different species of human. We're like, do they play games? I don't know. What are their natural habitat?
I mean, what if there were a bunch of people that were, even older than us, and they got together and they had a millennial themed like costume party? Would they play this? Would they put the box, the bag of wine inside the Tide Eco box?
Sure would.
Play Monopoly for millennials?
Should we? Millennial parties. That's a new thing for people that are non-millennials. I think we should start doing that.
What I mean is, would they play this? Because I don't feel like my kids do play games, but only because their mom plays them, like the board games. But do millennials play board games, or is it all video?
Yes,
no, board games are making a comeback.
I think so.
What are you basing that on? What?
Yeah.
Secret Hitler, werewolf. What do you meme?
What do you meme?
Cards Against Humanity. There's a meme game. There's there's a ton of games.
Okay.
Dude.
All right. I don't play games, so I don't know.
I know. I've invited you to play games. So it's you who doesn't play games, but everyone else does.
And correct me if I'm wrong here, audience, because I do think we have a lot of millennials who watch and listen to the News AF podcast. And I feel like that they're on board with the they're laughing at jokes making fun of millennials. I think that millennials ironically like millennial bashing humor. Yes.
I don't know.
Tell me, maybe I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, please at me on Twitter at PineappleBoy27, and please let me know where
I saw him.
if I'm wrong.
He was pretty active last week.
Yes, gotta make sure that is a direct line to give me negative feedback for any of the podcasts. I appreciate that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about
because
what else
we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, right, Rob?
No, definitely not. That's not our goal here. Okay. All right. So millennials may not afford real estate, but maybe they might be interested in a fancy new AI toilet. Now, Tyson, in the pre-show, I was talking with Danny, and Danny feels like that he invented this.
He would.
Danny, you came up with the concept for the AI toilet.
No. Mine was an app that you would hold over the phone, and you would snap a picture of your excrement.
Oh, you just take a picture.
And it would try and measure girth and length.
For what? To put a condom on it?
No. You just print out paper for that type.
It would measure it and do its best to best guess, because the technology
that's interesting. That I do think that maybe based on color, I think that maybe you could do so. So you could do a poor man's version of this. Yeah,
exactly. The technology doesn't exist for my idea yet, but in the future it will, when we have better sensing technology on our phones.
Yeah. So these toilets are going to have that in. It's going to be like a little lab right inside your toilet.
Yeah.
But Rob, if you can't afford real estate, there's no way you can buy a $10,000 toilet.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can't afford the real estate, Tyson, because you own the toilet.
So what? Where are you going to put your toilet?
In your mom's basement.
Okay.
Hey, look, what good is the real estate if you have you had something that don't have great health? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So this is maybe the better investment. The AI toilet. I'm all about this. This is great. The smart toilet that can analyze human waste and pick up the first signs of illness. And so I think that this is revolutionary, because we have all these people that are waiting. They can't get in to see a doctor. And then,
will the toilet package up my turd to take to the doctor's office? Because that would be a nice extra step.
Well, I mean, if you're a doctor, this is great. You don't have to have anybody packaging up anything. It's like, all right, let me get the printout from your toilet.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I think but they're gonna want to examine it.
You know what?
themselves.
The toilet could probably just
The doctors
email
aren't
the doctor.
examining your turds, Danny.
Yes, they
They're
do.
sending them to a
Well, I
lab.
think that if you
Well, you know what I mean. That's
but
what
this
I'm
is
saying.
the lab. The toilet is the lab.
the toilet is the lab. Can
I
they?
don't see any. Does it have a Bunsen burner, beakers, people wearing safety goggles?
Oh,
those are the
think
situations.
you have
I
a
think
very
people examine
misconstrued concept of what a lab actually
No, I
is.
think I have a very accurate
Yeah.
idea.
In addition to stool analysis, don't forget that the toilet can also do urine
Urine
analysis as well.
Oh,
Mhm.
it'd be like too much Mountain Dew.
Yes.
Too
Well,
much
Danny,
Mountain Dew.
I do think one of the first things the toilet is going to test for is how many fiery Cheetos have you eaten?
I had 2 bags since our last podcast. 2
Although-
bags of hot flaming Fritos.
To be fair, I do think that you could do that test with the naked eye.
yeah, if there's blood in your urine because of the hot flaming Cheetos.
You don't need an AI toilet for that.
No, I don't. Diagnose myself.
Yeah, but no, this is really great stuff, cutting edge stuff.
Will
that
the toilet be able to decipher between beets and blood?
I think so. Yeah,
Is this a Japanese toilet? Because I've always noticed that the Japanese are way ahead. in
way
toilet
ahead,
technology.
way
Like
ahead of everything.
centuries ahead.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I would think so. So this is from the company Micron is working on this. So I don't.
No,
I'm not sure.
Micron wants to build the chips for the toilet.
Okay. Yes.
So the toilet isn't designed by Micron, but Micron is saying that these AI toilets are going to be the future, and we want to build the chips for them, which is a weird way to go unless they have some insider information where they're just like, we've been working on the technology for a chip for a smart toilet for 45 years now, and now we're just waiting for someone to invent a smart toilet where we can use our chips. But let it be known, we're ready to put our chips in these toilets when the toilets are developed.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
They're like calling dibs on the smart toilet game just to use their chips in them.
get in on the smart toilet, Tyson.
And you know what we're going to do? We're going to build the seats for them.
Yeah,
so we
that's
call
good.
dibs on building the seats for all the smart toilets.
Yes. So we're going to be the people that get in, like the people that make the cases for the iPhone. Great.
Mhm.
What kind of features are people going to be looking for in the special seat for the
Heating,
smart-
cooling, massaging, pep talk.
Yeah.
You can do it.
I
You
mean-
can do it, Brian.
But do you want a special seat? Because I would imagine that if I have a smart toilet, I would feel like that the seat would sort of be home to a lot of sensors.
Yeah, it definitely will be home to a lot of sensors.
It has to be.
It'll have a barometer, a
Detect
gyroscopic,
cellulite forming,
Heart rate monitor.
temperature.
Cellulite
Right, it can do all sorts of
perspiration rising.
right. So I'm not sure necessarily if you want to cover any of those sensors up.
You know what? The thing is, once we add all those sensors and we're analyzing everything, I think people are just going to start going to the bathroom out in the woods, because the fear of going to the bathroom in one of these toilets and discovering that you're on the verge of dying, or just it's going to be the
people-
bad news.
But it's
every
also
time.
twofold. It's going to be like, you know what? Going potty in the woods is the most natural way to do it. And that's how I had my babies.
Well,
that's where I want to do my yoga.
People are going to do it in the woods just to avoid getting the bad news these toilets are constantly giving.
But
Because here's the
Danny,
thing.
I think that you would be afraid of, if you had not ever been on it, maybe there might be some fear the first time. But once the toilet tells you you're good, I don't think you'd have that fear. I think that people are sort of like have like the, white coat syndrome of being afraid of the doctor because they have not been to the doctor for many years. And they're sort of afraid to go there and find out what the doctor has.
Yeah, so let's say you have one of the first smart toilets in your home,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And you have a lot of people visiting all the time. I think you're going to end up finding a lot of poos in your sink and dustbin. Because
No, I disagree. I
people
think
are
you're
like, no way. I've heard about these toilets. I don't want to hear about my ailments here and now in
You
Rob's
can turn
house.
it off.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. If
Just
so,
push the
if I have a
button
smart toilet at my house, first off, okay, let's say Danny
You have
has
to
a
put a
smart
warning
toilet.
on the door.
Danny has okay, so you maybe put a sign like you have a party at your house, warning, smart toilet inside. So
Yes.
first off, it's like, hey Danny, I don't have health insurance. Can I come over and use your bathroom? because I need. I haven't been to the doctor in a couple of years, but I've been on hard times.
Danny's not going to let you sit on his personal toilet at home.
No, Danny, please. I don't have any. I don't have any health insurance.
Rob, you can come sit on my toilet, but Danny won't allow you because then he'll have to do the hover for the rest of his life.
Rob, full disclosure: if you go to the bathroom on my smart toilet, I have all the information now about so much
DNA,
about you.
Yes.
Well, all of your ailments, all of your gross infections. Now I know.
Well, that was going to be number 2. Oh, no pun intended. Of you have a party at your house now, and now you've got the medical information on everybody in your circle now.
Exactly. I can see what kind of opioids Tyson's taking.
Oh yeah, Tyson. Yeah, before I give you this job, can you go ahead and give me a stool sample?
Yeah, I can.
Like, okay. Tyson is on.
Do you need a bottle of water? Let me get you another bottle of water. And then all of a sudden Tyson has to go to the bathroom. They're like, whoa, it appears that you are a drug addict. For some reason, you're taking multiple weird drugs.
How do you have Ebola and AIDS in your system at the same time, but are all exhibiting almost no signs?
Well, I mean, you go on a first date with somebody like, hey, you want to use the bathroom before we, And
that's why you do what the girl did and toss her turd out the window.
Medical history.
Is that what she was doing?
Yeah.
She was bypassing the guy's
smart toilet. Danny, can we outfit the smart toilet with a camera and microphone so that maybe then the doctor can talk to you?
Yeah, my toilets here actually already have cameras on them.
A lot of public toilets actually do have cameras.
Yeah, you don't realize that any of those portable porta potties at like sporting events and stuff, those have cameras.
Lots of cameras, lots of analyzing going on.
Okay, boy.
Analyzing.
Smart toilet really is a complete game changer. It really changes everything.
Wave of the future.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about some more stories. This is a great week for news. We got to talk about. Oh yes, Danny. This is going to get into a segment of talking about some people. Lonely people looking for love in different places. And Danny is very excited.
Even getting even lonelier by alienating anybody who would give him the time of day before.
This is the only story I wanted to talk about.
Okay, let's get into this because this is a story of one of the most romantic stories you're going to hear today. And this is
beautiful.
This is the story of a man named Akihito Kondo. And
that would be his name.
Well, what's that?
I said that would be his name.
Yeah. This is a picture of Akihito Kondo with his new bride, and her name is Hatsune Miko.
Great name.
Yes.
And so they got married recently, and none of his family, his mom didn't show up, and I think none of his family members showed up.
Yes.
So there is a sad element to this story, right? If you read through the whole thing, he was, he tried to get along with women. He just didn't have that knack, he didn't have that James Dean gene or whatever you would call it that allowed him to just be a hit with the ladies. So he found love with his hologram, which, by the way, is a 16-year-old, I think, is the age of his hologram, which takes the place when he wants the hologram to be in real life. He has a doll that mimics the hologram. And the reason I don't necessarily like this story individually, but the idea of people marrying a hologram, I mean, how much easier is life, especially if the hologram is tapped into all of your appliances, to your smart toilet. Your hologram is going to be able to do so much for you and never argue with you about any of the things that you argue with a real living person. So it's like the hologram can do everything. It can turn up the heat in your house. It can analyze your poop. It can warm up the toilet seat. It can get the shower started. I'm talking about in the near future, with almost none of the side effects of a real relationship with a real person. All the best parts without any of the worst.
So you're on board with this, Danny?
Oh yeah. Totally.
But what about the repetitive nature of her? Like, there's no way you can program her to say something new every day, so you still get that. Like, oh, hey.
But that's not any different than a long-term marriage with a real human.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you said none of the bad this stuff, but that is one of the things.
But you could turn her off if she got too repetitive.
Yeah. That I have a issue here. I think that I have a battery that's beeping. I'm gonna have pass this off to you guys to talk about the hologram bride here while I investigate this.
By the way, I don't think he's the first. It's not a real marriage. Of course, the people who are fully supporting this marriage is the hologram maker. They sent him a certificate saying that he was married to the hologram because, of course, it benefits them hugely if that can be recognized. But I don't, Tyson. What are the downsides of marrying a hologram?
You don't get any physical.
Not now. Not
when?
Dude, not as like in the future. If you had a robot, the hologram could pop into.
I feel like there's a lot of downsides. Like, for example, us covering it on News AF. Like, imagine you being the subject of one of our stories.
Okay.
It seems so superficial. Like, how in depth can it be? I know we've all watched the movie Her, where Mr. Phoenix has a relationship with his smartphone, with his AI.
One of the best relationships he's ever had in any movie, by the way.
Exactly. And this could be that, but everything about this, to me, screams more like it's a pervert doing things legally. So he's like, I want to date a 16-year-old that has modified eyes who's a pop star, but I don't want to get arrested for it.
Well, let me put it this way. Let's say you live in China, right? And I think that I read somewhere that China has...
I lived in China for 10 days once.
Okay, China has 20-something million men, I believe, and someone should check this for me, men who will never, ever marry, right? So you have a group of men out there, tons of them, millions of them, with no opportunity to get married. What's your alternative? Because
so what you need to do...
unless you can get them to sign up for a war, single men roaming the land is a dangerous thing.
So what you do here, Danny,
is
you create a website, and let's just, for the sake of not having a better name, let's just call it Ashley Madison. And then we'll hire a quarter of these men to pose as women on the website and flirt with men. And then the other 75% will be the men thinking that they're flirting with these women. And they'll get on it all day, every day, just flirting back and forth.
Is that enough?
I think so. I think if you can train the 25% that are getting paid to be
so you're
women,
saying one group of that, one percentage of that group is tricking the other. So they're all being tricked into thinking that they're having secret liaisons with women.
Exactly.
So it's just a big swindle or whatever. It's just a big trick playing on each other.
I heard that when you signed up for Ashley Madison, you actually would get a free membership if you would pose as a woman on a separate profile.
So that's
so then you're posing as a woman flirting with all these dudes, and then you're flirting with probably actual women on the other end.
Oh, so nobody knows who's talking to who, and they're too afraid to expose themselves, you know, with the truth. And so everybody's living in a big vicious cycle of lies.
Yes.
Until they die, or until at least their sexual drive runs out.
Correct.
Okay.
Are you using dial-up, Rob? I'm hearing like a dial-up.
Yeah. So what's that? I have a battery backup for the computers here, and apparently there's some issue with it. So I think I need to turn it off and turn it back on. So I think what we need to do is, I think that's going to be it for the video stream for this episode of News AF. And I apologize to our live viewers. But if you want to hear the rest of this show, the rest of the show in full will be available as a podcast. You can subscribe newsaf.news, or of course it's in the Rob as a Podcast main feed. So I do apologize about that. So we're going to cut the video, and then I just need to restart this system, and then we can go ahead and finish the rest of the audio podcast.
The sound doesn't sound that bad.
I think it I mean, I can power through it, but people are saying that they hear some feedback. So let's go ahead and let's stop.
Like it.
Yeah, stop the video stream, and then we'll be back.
Should I stop recording?
No,
or
you keep
recording?
Keep recording. Let me just see what it will take, because I need to turn it off, and I'm not sure exactly what computers in this room are going to ultimately to go off here. So
what is our course of action? Turn everything off.
No, you guys are good. You guys hang out here. You guys don't do anything different. I'm just going to stop the stream because I'm not sure if the computer is gonna turn off when I turn off this button. Okay. All right, so thank you guys so much for joining us on the live stream. We'll be back next
There's a
Tuesday.
lot more good stories, though, coming up, so you're going to want to listen to the podcast.
Yeah. All right, thanks, guys.